Sheriff's Talk, a public affairs program of KWN TV 7. Join us every week as we talk various aspects of law enforcement and how important it is for the citizens and law enforcement to work together. Now join us for another edition of Sheriff Talk on KWN Live and Local TV Channel 7. And good day, everyone. Welcome into another edition of Sheriff Talk here on KWN TV. We welcome Marion County Sheriff Bo Burnett and Dade County Sheriff Ray Cross. Good morning, Sheriffs.
Good to be here. Good morning, Ed.
I appreciate both of you coming in. Hadn't had both of you in the studio in a good while, and glad to see you out and moving around, Sheriff.
Yeah, I had surgery on my foot October the 13th, and I was telling y'all before we went on air, I tell everybody I had what called a bunion. I never heard of a bunion but I didn't know it was going to be this long. I thought it'd just be a couple weeks, and then come find out my big toe had to be broke and realigned, put pins in, and I said, oh, so I've been off about 8 or 9 weeks. Kind of got used to being at home, I tell Deb, my wife, I said, I need a sandwich. Okay, I need this. Now, last night I said I need a sandwich. She said, well, you can walk, get up and get your sandwich. So the good old days is over with now.
That train has left the station.
And I was doing the Southern Employees at work. I've been back part-time 2 weeks, and I said, would you get that book for me? Would you get that? And now I can't use it nowhere. No. So
you're on your own now, right?
Back on my own, yeah.
Well,
I'm still
it's
in a boot, but I'm gradually changing over to a regular shoe. I wore a shoe a couple hours yesterday, so hopefully in a week I told that surgeon, I said, need to fix this thing right now. I said, he knew I was sheriff from Marion County. I said, I get in a lot of foot pursuits. And he said, you do? I said, yeah. I said, and he said, well, I'll make sure it's fixed right. And one of the girls at work, it was a nursing nurse, lived there in Jasper. I heard her snigger, so she knew I was going on a bunch of stuff.
Well, it's glad that you're well on your way to recovery. If you happen to make your own sandwiches, I guess that means you're about to recover.
Yeah,
for sure.
They taste better when somebody brings them to you when you make them yourself. I don't know why.
Oh my goodness. A lot of things to talk about. I know that Sheriff, you haven't been here in a few weeks because of the surgery. We had some breaking news out of Dade County this week with a major GBI arrest that I'm going to talk to you about.
I've seen that on the news.
And there's a lot of activity going on. I want to
pornography stuff.
Yes.
I want to be able to kind of get y'all to update us on both of y'all's Christmas fund giveaways for the kids right here at Christmas. We haven't been able to talk with it about it a lot, but I'll let both of y'all have an opportunity to talk about that coming up. But Sheriff Cross, let's talk a little bit about the arrest earlier this week of Donald Rudolph Moore, 59 of Dade County. It was an arrest by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation and the Child Exploitation and Computer Crimes Division. What can you share with us? And we'll talk about it.
Yeah, the Computer Crimes Division of GBI came down earlier in the week and had arrest warrants on the subject. And I think, from what I understand, they went to his house. He wasn't there. They had to go somewhere else, I believe. I may have that backwards with another case. But matter of fact, they did find him and has been charged with child pornography and I think several other charges. But we just assisted with the case. We don't have any charges, but they apparently I think he was doing podcasts and stuff like that. So he's going to be facing some serious charges.
A little bit of the press release from the GBI said the investigation is part of an ongoing effort by the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, housed with the GBI Child Exploitation and Computer Crimes Unit, to identify those involved in the trade of child sexual abuse material. The ICAC program was created by the U.S. Department of Justice and developed in response to an increasing number of children and teenagers using the internet. And that's just part of the press release. that they put out about arresting this 59-year-old. DiscoverDay.com, the newspaper for Dade County, the Mountain Valley Independent, has all of the information, including his arrest photo that's up and going. But I know that school systems do a lot of training, or at least I've been told that they try to do, to really impress on what type of dangers they are online.
Yeah, if we didn't have these divisions of GBI and forensics and technical departments, parts of their department that works on crimes like this, we'd never know it. So it's a good thing that they were watching this and caught the guy, and probably saved a lot of children from a tragedy.
Well, it's definitely, anytime that children are involved in any type of crime, but it seems that, the exportation of children, I am definitely glad from a citizen standpoint that we've got these different divisions and that are really honing in on these type of crimes, because they're, a lot of times hard to find if you don't get in on the internet and kind of get into that system. Sheriff, over in Tennessee, I'm assuming y'all have similar types of divisions.
We worked one a couple years ago. I think the man was in his mid-20s, and actually my detectives worked with with TBI and made an arrest. And the last two we got, they got some pretty good jail time. I think one got 10 years. They need to be put away for life.
Yeah,
my opinion is these people don't. When they get back out, I just think they're going to try to start right back into it. My opinion. I have nothing to back it up except my opinion. But some of the officers told me that some of the things they seen with kids, little kids, terrible. So these people need to be locked up in the key thrown away, in my opinion.
I agree. Evan, let me touch on something real quick. Last night, I know that it come out on Facebook or one of the media sites, and Chad was telling me that some people were on there bringing up the school thing with the pornography case. And they're saying that, I know there's a couple of them saying that we were sweeping stuff under the rug. Well, that's just not true. That case was conducted by NCIS out of Washington State, and they came down here, and all we did was assist them in that. We had no knowledge of that happening until NCIS got a hold of it and came down here, and I wasn't allowed to say anything. Their department told me not to make any statements or anything else, and there's very little information we could give out. And at the end of it, there was very little done in the case, and that's not us. That was NCIS, federal case. So we can't overstep our bounds and go and conduct a federal case that they started. So for the people that's saying we sweep stuff on the rug, that is absolutely not true, and we would not do that. So I just wanted to squash that rumor that was going around.
So that for those of you that are listening or watching, that case is really about 3 years old, 4 years?
It is, and the reason a lot of things cannot be prosecuted because the statute of limitations that ran out, and or there would have been some more charges for other people. But from what I understand, back in I think it was '89, that law had changed, and people didn't come forward till after the statute of limitations ran out, so they couldn't prosecute them on it. And that's where a lot of that went south. Was they had the evidence and everything, but they didn't have the law to back it up because the statute had ran out. And of course, that wasn't our case. That was NCIS, and that's something that they closed the case on.
These similar cases, I guess bring back that up. The reason they were putting it on but y'all had basically laid that out at the beginning that it was basically a federal investigation that you were assisting on.
Yeah, and we did not call them down here. They were called by the school system, and so they initiated the thing. Of course, if someone's doing that stuff, yeah, they need to be in jail, especially dealing with children. And, we do everything we can to protect children, always will, myself and Sheriff Burnett both. And we're high advocates of protecting children. So, when people, it just upsets you when you hear people say we're trying to cover stuff up or sweep it under the rug. That is absolutely not true and never will be true as long as I'm sheriff.
That's one of the reasons I never look at Facebook, because
Right.
these people get on there and they know more than anybody, and just makes you mad. So I just don't even look at
And you
it.
hear a lot of people, why aren't they releasing this info? Why aren't this? When you have an investigation going on, a lot of stuff you can't release because you're going to jeopardize the case. And that's why a lot of times we can't put stuff out to the public.
Well,
Because,
when we work cases, TBI's involved. They'll TBI stays tight-lipped on things, and the news media come to me, and they'll say, "Why can't you tell us?" And I said, "Well, TBI don't want me to keep this quiet."
and a lot of times you can't, because if you let a certain piece of information out, the people that's involved can cover up that
Right.
crime if they know what's going on. And that's why we don't release a lot of information when we're
You have to walk a
investigation.
fine line when you're working with a federal or state agency,
Sure.
and they're in charge of the investigation, but more or less left up to you to talk to the media, and they just, you hear that, well, I can't, ever big investigation across the nation, like the one up there with the 4 college kids,
Yes.
What is it? Was that in Utah, wasn't it? Well, anyhow, the police department or whatever is being criticized because they weren't releasing stuff, and I guarantee they got the FBI and everybody in there telling the chief, you keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
I guarantee they got suspects.
Oh yeah, they do. That's jeopardizing the case if you
Right,
let
but
that
you know,
info
the,
out.
but the poor police chief is the one catching the FBI and then the
Well,
state and everybody standing back.
I think one reason a lot of this stuff gets like that, people get so anxious, they watch TV and they
Yeah.
think these crimes happen.
Right.
They solve them in an hour or
Yeah.
30 minutes, and that's nothing happen in real life. I mean, there's a lot of things.
Well, there's a lot of forensics in that case, from what I can see, and
right.
and I think they're starting to get stuff back. But historically, it takes months to get stuff back.
Yeah, you send stuff to crime lab.
We don't have a crime lab sitting in Marion County or
Right.
Dade County. Don't even have one in Hamilton County.
We've got one in Atlanta. Only one we got around, and just think of Atlanta, DeKalb, all the other surrounding agencies that are sending evidence to that crime lab, and they only have so many people working there.
Same way in Tennessee, Nashville has TBI has a big crime lab, but every police agency, sheriff department in the state uses it. So, you may, especially if you get DNA and stuff, you're talking about
It's
4 to 6 months.
months, if not years.
They're just overwhelmed.
It is.
Yeah, I don't watch that NCIS or whatever that stuff, because they're on the scene, and then 10 minutes later they're in the lab looking through a microscope. So
I do watch ID Discovery a lot because a lot of that's true crimes that really happen. They're really working those cases, and they show you on there how long it takes. It takes, like I say, months, if not years, to solve cases sometimes.
I mean, we got murder cases sitting for trial, been sitting there for 2 or 3 years.
Yep.
Well, and there again, I think people, they get the empowerment on social media to say things without a lot of, everybody's got freedom of speech.
Right.
That's not a,
And
that's
we all
not an
honor
issue.
that. If
Right.
you want to get on and badmouth me, that's your First Amendment right. But it don't matter what you say. I mean, I'm ultimately one that has to make decisions just like Ray does. And you.
Kind of lonely at the top.
Lonely, it
sometimes.
is lonely at the top. But if you don't agree with it, vote me out. I guess I don't know what else to do.
We try to do what's right.
Well, I do try to do what's right, and a lot of stuff on social media, people don't have all the facts. They're giving an opinion on something that they don't really know the whole facts in it. So I just don't look at it that way. My blood pressure don't go up, and people come and tell me, well, they're saying this about you. They're saying, I say, okay, that's fine. I don't care.
It is, you're watching and listening to KWN and Sheriff Talk here on this Wednesday, December the 14th, and we visiting with Marion County Sheriff Bill Burnett and Dade County Sheriff Ray Cross. When we come back, a individual is being sought by Dade County for stealing a patrol car, and we're going to talk to the sheriff about that. That'll be on the way. Stay with us here on KWN Sheriff Talk. Back now to Sheriff Talk here on KWN. Sheriff O'Burnett had to step out for just a second, take a phone call. That sheriff in business don't stop it, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't.
It doesn't. No.
Sheriff, wanted to talk to you a little bit about the news that came out I think it was last Friday night. This is not the first time this has happened. When somebody's taken into custody, you know, they're put in handcuffs, they're put in a position, and we've had a patrol car taken before. Tell us a little bit about that particular situation.
Well, it's happened about every agency in the United States
Absolutely.
at some point in time. But they responded to a call. I'm not sure what the initial call. I want to say domestic because they went up there, and I think the suspect's girlfriend had a gash on her head or something, and I'm pretty sure he had a warrant on him, and they arrested him and put him in the back of the patrol car, and because the officer had his petition between his seats was unlocked because he had been dealing with somebody previously and just didn't lock it back, and he was handcuffed behind his back. They were attending to the female and trying to get her medical help. When the guy was placed in the car, he slipped the handcuffs. How he did it, I don't know, but he's got his handcuffs in front of him and climbed through the window inside and took off in the car and struck another one of our patrol cars in the process. And he went up a dirt road up in the new home area, and then got the car stuck and fled on foot. So we're still in the process of looking for him. I contacted U.S. Marshals yesterday, and they're working on the case. They started this morning on it, so I'm confident we're going to have him in custody before too long. And the best thing, if anybody knows where he's at, is have him turn himself in, and it'll go a lot smoother, a lot better for him. Because, you know, he's got some serious charges, and it'll look a lot better if he turned himself in than if we have to go track him down. So we're in the process of doing that now. We got a couple of tips the other night. I even called Sheriff Burnett, and we had a tip that he might be at a certain area, and I was trying to confirm if it was in his county or in Hamilton County. It turned out it was in Hamilton County. But we didn't have any luck locating him, and went to another location and didn't find him there either. So that's when we got the marshals involved, and they're high profile cases right now.
Well, it's happened before, and like I say, probably every agency can remember back in time that this type of thing is happened. Now, you were able to recover the patrol car, correct?
Yes, we got, not long after they got the patrol car, they pursued him and he took off, and like I say, he got the car stuck.
Did it have that split window on the screen?
Yes.
I think we're just about done away with those split windows. Used to, you
Pretty
could
much.
have a little latch, unlatch, and you could open the window up.
Mm-hmm.
I actually seen a guy one time 30 years ago. He got the window open and got the shotgun off the rack and blowed the back window out of the patrol car. So.
Well, now we have the shotguns, but they're locked. They're locked. Now you can't.
This has been 30 years ago.
Right.
We didn't have that high technology equipment back then.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there's even shells in the shotgun, but I can remember he blowed the back window out and still went to jail.
Yeah, anytime it happens to an officer, though, the other officers rag.
Well, a few years ago, probably 3 or 4 years ago, in Tracy City, an officer was answering some kind of call, and he left his patrol car sitting in the driveway and walked around the house. I think it was a prowler call, and I guess the guy's call was on. He jumped out of the window and went there and opened the door and got the patrol car. Of course, he had to come to Marion County. He couldn't go to Middle Tennessee. Yeah. And my guys got in chase of him. They ended up wrecking 3 patrol cars, and it cost about $30,000 in damage. And demolished the Tracy City patrol car, and then they damaged 3 of mine.
And a lot of times they're
I don't think he done anything to him.
Yeah, I'm gonna say somebody ordered to pay restitution, but you never seen that. You ever seen it, Sheriff? Anybody ever pay restitution?
I just make an airplane out of it and throw it up in the sky because
Right.
that's all he's going to get. I think I've got restitution in 1 case in 21 years.
Wow.
And the only reason the guy was trying to get off probation, and part of his probation, he had to pay restitution of $1,000, and he paid that because he was going on some kind of trip.
Yeah.
Hadn't been for that, he wouldn't have. But I think since 2016, I've had $270,000 worth of claims where people tore up my cars, kicked the windows out,
Right.
never got a dime.
Well, it's those things do happen, but want to get an update
Well,
on
the thing
that.
the thing I want them to
it.
do is don't let them come off probation until this restitution's paid. You know, sometimes but see, they'll let them go off probation and the order's still there. You know, restitution, and all they can make you pay is what you had to pay out. Like we have $1,000 deductible on insurance. All they make them pay is $1,000, and I don't even get that.
We'll take another break and stay with us. We won't be gone long here on Sheriff Talk on KWN as we visit with Marion County Sheriff Bo Burnett and Dade County Sheriff Ray Cross. Welcome back to Sheriff Talk here on KWN TV. Marion County Sheriff Bo Burnett, along with Ray Cross, Sheriff of Dade
Ray Cross
County.
hollering, "Go Dogs!"
Yeah, he did when we went to the break, and I guess we normally let's first, before we talk a little sports here at the end, and it'll be coming up here for too much longer. Let's talk a little bit about both of y'all's event that you have every year for Christmas for the kids. It's named differently in each county. We'll start with you, Sheriff Burnett.
Well, we've taken applications. We got 170 kids, more than we've ever had. I've raised a ton of money. When Detective Blanchett got killed in the helicopter crash back in August, the family asked that instead of flowers, make contribution to the Sheriff Christmas Fund. That's probably brought in an additional $20,000, but the Crystal that does it there, head of it, I think she said she had 170 kids at $200 a kid. We spent $30,500 December the 2nd at Walmart. I got the idea from you. You know, when we do an application, make them show them proof of income. Also, we put down ages and what they would like. Then she gets like school teachers and anybody in the community wants to come in that one night and shop. Then there at Walmart Kimball, they use where the greenhouse part where they have like plants and stuff. They put 2 cash registers there, and they run them through, and it comes to $30,500.
Awesome.
We're gonna have our giveaway December the 23rd, a Friday. They're going to start at 9 o'clock in the morning. I've got probably 3 trailers and about 15 officers and some of the jailers and everybody. Anybody wants to go, they jump in a car, and they're going to try to go. I don't think they can do it one day. They're going to try to go house to house and deliver the presents. She said they may have to do some Saturday, but that's where we stand at right now. We've raised a ton of money, and anybody in Marion County that contributes, I want to say thank you. It's been great. And I got a lot of my information this year from my SRO officers. They have brought names in because they're in the schools and they see the kids that come in with raggedy shoes, wore out shirt, and they know. So we feel like this year we've helped the right people, and a lot of the shopping we do is we concentrate maybe 70% clothes and 30% toys. You know, in a month, most of those toys are going to be like thrown over in the corner, but that shoes and that sock and underwear and shirts and pants, they're going to use for
Right.
several years. So that's where we stand at right now, but I really appreciate all the help we got this year.
A lot of folks being helped in Marion County because of you and
Also,
your
we
department's
bought,
efforts.
100 cards at Food Land in South Pittsburgh to give out to people to buy food, and I use Food Land in South Pittsburgh because they don't sell alcohol or cigarettes, and they've been working with me 4 years, and we just give them out, and then we try to give them out a week before Christmas so people will go down there and buy food for Christmas, you know. So we're going to end up spending probably around $45, possibly up to $50,000 this year. That's a lot of money. We got a lot of contributions.
Helped a lot of families.
Yeah, we did.
Sheriff, here in Dade County.
Ours, we are now, my secretary, my office manager, and several other people, and some of our inmates are helping pack up the toys, getting them ready to give out. I think it's next week. 20th or 21st, I can't remember which day. I have so much going on, but they're in the process. I think we've got close to 100 families we're helping this year. Also, as Bo said, we got cards too. Gift cards were given out. I gave some out yesterday to I think to Ingles and to Walmart. So you know, we may stop you and give you one. So we just
Did you have a Christmas parade this year?
we did.
We had 2 Saturday. I was in 2 Saturday.
Oh, awesome.
South Pittsburgh had one at 10 in Jasper. They had their schedule for 6 o'clock at night, but the rain was coming in, so they moved it to 4. But my employees got together and got a trailer and made a good float. They built a little jail cell and had the Grinch inside the jail cell. And them kids just tickled them kids to death, and they say that. And one of the employees had a Grinch suit, and they dressed up. I heard one of the boys say, "The Grinch is in the can." The Grinch is in the can.
That is
It's,
good.
It's amazing.
And we still come in third. And I was
Did
sure
you?
we had the best float there, but that's okay.
You should have asked for a recount.
Yeah.
It's amazing how generous people are at Christmas time, though. I think this is one of the biggest Christmas we've had donations coming in.
we
like
still
that.
had 3 of those big totes, you know, full of candy left over from Halloween. You know, they have a Halloween thing on the square on Saturday, and there's probably 1,500 kids went through there, and I had a bunch of employees over there that day that gave out candy, and they had so much candy that they had it left over from Halloween. They were throwing out Saturday 2 parades, and still had a little bit left over. So
It's good.
Well, you started when we came back from this last segment to the sheriff was talking about Go Dogs. So
Go
let's talk a
Dogs.
little sports.
Well, I remember Halloween. We were on the square there. We were watching I was trying to give out candy and stuff and meet people and watch the Georgia LSU game at the same time. And of course, Georgia
you wasn't
won
really
that game.
worried, was you?
Nah, not.
I'd start saying
not
don't.
really.
No. I tell you, Georgia got probably the best. This team this year is probably one of the best college teams I've ever seen.
Yeah, they got some.
I mean, all around.
Coach Kirby's a good coach.
Yeah, good coach, got good offense, good defense, special teams. It's just everything's covered.
Yeah. So we'll see how they do against Ohio State. And, maybe we'll be playing Michigan.
Did you say that was New Year's Eve?
I think it's right at 11, New Year's Eve.
It is.
I see
Coming
New
up
Year's
New
Day
Year's
is
Eve.
on a Sunday, so it'd be on Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm too old to celebrate.
So,
I drink a glass of orange juice.
Yeah.
I usually can't stay awake till midnight, so I had to.
Yeah, I haven't seen the ball drop in a few years. Around 10 o'clock or so, his eyes get heavy. But
Then if
game.
Georgia beats Ohio State, TCU or
Michigan.
plays Michigan,
Who would
I
win
look
that?
for them to end up playing Michigan, don't you?
that's what I think. I hope it's going to happen. We'll see.
If Alabama had only 1 loss, they'd be in there.
Yeah.
They were. Don't want to offend no Alabama fans. They're doing everything they could get them back in there, but those 2 losses, they just couldn't do it. But
Yeah.
if they just had 1 loss, they'd. Of course, TCU's got a one loss, and Ohio State's got one loss. So,
And we're talking about Tennessee's game all the
oh,
time.
no. That's terrible.
That's kind of a shocker.
Terrible. That's what it was. It's past worse than shocker. It's just terrible.
Well, it's pretty funny. I'm a Georgia fan. My wife's a Tennessee fan, and that whole week when we played Tennessee, she kept saying she had a shirt hanging up in the hallway, and she said, "Every time you go by, touch that shirt." I didn't say anything the whole week, and
Did you touch
she's
it?
making another joke.
No, I know you didn't.
So the night of the game, I put my Georgia shirt on, was watching it, and she's over there in the other chair watching it. And, we were winning and stuff, and I didn't say nothing the whole game until the game was over, and I walked up to her and I said, "Touch the shirt." So
How'd that couch sleep that night?
it wasn't too comfortable.
Well, we certainly appreciate wrapping up the program here on Sheriff Talk, where we it won't be long that we talk about if Georgia takes both games, New Year's Eve and I think January 6th, I think something like January 8th, somewhere along in there.
Is that the
national
That's
championship?
championship game? Where they playing it at? Atlanta? I think so, isn't it?
I think the Peach Bowl, which isn't that where the Georgia will play Ohio State? I think it is in Atlanta. I
I
think.
don't know what national championship game is going to be held at.
I may be talking out of key there, but could be. Hey, we certainly appreciate both of you coming in, and we hope that you enjoy listening and watching to Sheriff Talk each week here on KWN. And we'll see you back next week, Sheriff.
Thank you.
All right.